Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing alright. Today we have more of everyone's favorite, dating stories and strategies. Wingmen of Reddit, how far have you gone for your friend? Alright, this should be a lot of fun, so let's get to it.
My brother invited his girlfriend over on Valentine's Day to watch a movie. When he left to pick her up, I cleaned the room, lit 50 candles, prepared snacks, set out minty gum, I turned on music, and left the house.
You're a good brother. I hid gay porn in my brother's room for his girlfriend to find. I'm an awful brother, but we all got a good laugh when it was all said and done.
Ha! So, you just happen to have gay porn, just laying around.
Nah, he's just holding it for a friend, okay.
I actually went out and bought the porno from a store. If you're gonna do a prank, you've gotta commit to it.
This is my wingman moment. Enjoy. My friend, he was totally in love with this chick that was a physical fitness trainer at 24 Hour Fitness, and I couldn't blame him because she definitely did look like Megan Fox. Anyway, he finally gets her to go on a date with him, but there was a condition. She had to bring her friend with her. So my bro asks me to wingman him on this adventure, and since I was, and still am, a great bro, I gave him the okay. So we head to this club and we were dressed semi-dressed to impress, and lo and behold, the girl comes out of her car and wow, she was hot. So, we're kinda expecting that her friend would be at least equal her hotness, or just a bit less, but then comes a behemoth of a girl lumbering out of the passenger seat of the car. Needless to say that both my friend and I were horrified at the sight. At any rate, I managed to disguise my disgust and do my wingman thing, and we are all having a good time. Things got so good that the hot girl quickly agreed to a little after party somewhere. So my bro goes and books us a room at the Hilton. We end up going to the Hilton and drink, and since we were all a little plastered, he somewhat tries to get his game on with the hot girl, and I look over and see that it is somewhat uncomfortable, so, being the awesome bro that I am, I jump on the grenade, her ugly best friend, and begin to do unspeakable and terrible things with her. Thanks to that, he and that hot girl managed to get it on while I had to take the bullet. Needless to say, my bro owes me one forever. Long story short, I did it with a fat ass ugly chick, so my bro can score with a Megan Fox look-alike.
In my state, we call the wingman a grenade jumper, by which their job is to hop on top of the ugly tag-along friend, for the good of the friendship and all mankind.
Not many people know that Bruno Mars was actually singing that song to his buddy and not his girlfriend.
But darling, I still catch a grenade for you. Throw my hand on the blade for you.
So based on most of the stories, one of a wingman's top duties is to sleep with a fat girl, because otherwise, hot girl wouldn't sleep with the main guy? Today I learned hot girls are fat girls wing women.
Guys are buds, and when a bud scouts a cute girl that he wants to get into's panties, his other buds, or wingmen, help him out. Girls are sisters, and when a sister wants some loving, she sticks around the more attractive one, knowing that a wingman will be hitting on her soon. Am I right?
I once brought back a gay guy to my house, so my bro could hook up with his friend, who was a girl. I didn't hook up with him, because I'm straight and was already with someone, but we got pretty stoned. I found out he was also a wingman for his gal pal. Cool dude for sure.
The night I lost my virginity, my friend and I were competing over a girl. After a little while, I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Please, I need this." Not only did my buddy leave me and the girl alone, but he provided me with a condom and let me use his bed. Best wingman of all time.
I used to go to bars and compete with other dudes by chugging beers. In my younger years I could chug a pint of beer in under 2 seconds. Whoever drank the pints the slowest would have to buy a pitcher of beer. Pretty typical. There was this one night where this one dude actually started competing with others, and he came by our table next to the bar. We start competing and of course, I win. This dude thought it was just beginner's luck, so he kept trying to beat me. He was relentless and would not stop hassling me, because he wanted to win. Eventually, I got tired of this jerk, and a little tipsy, so I told him that if I chugged an entire full pitcher and beat him while he drank half of a pitcher and beat him, he would not only have to pay for our table's tab, but he would have to pay for the tab of the table next to us. there was a lot of hot girls sitting there. This guy was really adamant, and of course the table full of these young ladies were now interested because their tab was probably going to be covered. I could not believe that this guy actually went through it. I have no idea how the hell I did it, but I chugged the hell out of that pitcher and beat this dude. He, of course, was very reluctant to pay, but his buddies were coaxing him to do so, and he did. Those girls were so very happy and started talking to most of my buddies in our table. I was effing wasted after this, hence, I had no idea what happened afterwards. My best friend got laid, his brother got laid, and this one guy met a girl that night that would eventually be his wife. Sadly they are now divorced. And this other dude apparently got laid by 2 different girls from that table. Not sure if I believe him, but up to this day he will never let me pay for a beer. The only consolation was that one of my buddies had the decency to take me home before they ended up getting laid that night. Who was it? Too drunk to remember. So long story short, I won a drinking contest, got almost everyone in my table laid by winning.
You deserve a Purple Heart.
Yeah, and a new liver.
Nice. Despite your non-laidness, I'm sure you had a good time, and your friends must be eternally grateful. If I may ask, there had to be at least one fat chick there? Right.
I'm pretty sure there was. But I cannot remember most of the night, except for what my friends tell me. The last part, I do recall, was chugging that pitcher and my buddies yelling frantically, as some could not believe it.
As a wingwoman, I got my friend repeatedly shagged by befriending the girl of his choice, usually someone he had been trying to get with for a while, getting a bit tipsy and giggly girl with her and going something like, "Hey, do you see that guy over there?
Yeah, what about him?
Oh God, this is so embarrassing, but I got really drunk one night and I threw myself at him. He completely rejected me cause apparently he didn't want to take advantage and he liked someone else. I'm mortified."
Wow, really?
This implies that he is a gentleman and that the woman in question is special. It also implies that I would have sex with him if I could, which makes guys a million times hotter. Plus, why would she ever think I was lying? 3 birds, 1 stone, subtle as
Biologist here. This is a human version of a classical experiment. The way I used to do it was to take a fish tank with 2 dividers in it, and in 1/3 of the tank, I'd put a pretty robust male fish, on the opposite side, a shitty, undersized male fish, and in the middle, a female. The experiment would test to see which male the female fish would hang around with and interact with more, as a predictor of which fish she was likely to mate with. But the catch: on the side with the scrawny fish, I would put a pregnant female fish. Without the pregnant fish, the female was likely to choose the robust, big fish every time. With the pregnant female fish, the other female chose the scrawny one more often. A classic demonstration of worth experiment. Good job doing that for your buddy.
Wait, hold up. So, hanging out with pregnant chicks will get me laid?
No, idiot. You have to hang out with pregnant fish.
Duh.
Can you even read?
Thank you. Some people completely misinterpret scientific work.
So, if, I don't have a wing woman available, a pregnant woman would also work?
As a scientist, I can only say absolutely yes.
Alright, so early in the night we were switching venues from happy hour to dinner, and my bro had a girl with him that he was into. We were taking separate cars. He had 2 drinks at that time, not drunk, but possibly enough to get in trouble. We had a plan for later so that he wouldn't be designated driver, but currently he was probably on the line. I showed up later and didn't have a chance to have a drink yet. So we're driving to dinner, going a pretty normal 10 miles per hour over the speed limit, and suddenly I see a cop hiding behind an embankment checking everyone with a radar gun. Suddenly his lights come on, and he starts to pull on the road behind us. I check to make sure no one is around me, then throw out the decoy swerve and get myself pulled over instead of him.
Shit, how did that turn out for you?
Yeah, it was a tense conversation with the officer at first, but I basically ended up with a citation for a lane violation and turning without a signal or something. It was around $200. I had a clean driving record at the time and basically said I reached over to grab my sunglasses and swerved the car. My friend insisted on paying it. It ended up being a fun night. My friend ended up dating the girl for a while over the next few months. He's usually fine once he can break the ice, but later she moved to a different city and it didn't work out. A buddy of mine is the undisputed master of looking like he makes a lot more money than he actually does. To add to the money look, I help him throw around some power as well. while he's doing his thing at the bar, I call him on his cell, so he can berate me as if I was one of his employees that just messed something up. It works pretty effectively, when your one-night stand targets tend to be gold diggers.
Ha! I can only imagine the look on the girls he takes home, realizing that they've been tricked by looks. 100% wingman, out of 10.
He spends a lot on a few items like clothes, watches, jewelry, shoes, etc. Those items are not in any way indicative of his real income and lifestyle. He has a company-provided car allowance that he doubles out of his own salary, that allows him to drive a much more expensive car than his $60K income would normally support, without making some huge sacrifices in other areas. He also comes from money, so he grew up with a much richer lifestyle than he can afford today, and does a great job looking and acting like a high-paid executive when he's actually just a decently paid sales rep.
A well-picked used car can go a long way as well. I drive a 10-year-old Porsche Boxster that I picked up for less than I can buy a new Honda Fit.
With a 10-year-old Honda, you look like a poor bastard, but with a 10-year-old sports car. Ahem, yeah, I just love these older Porsches, the new ones just don't have as much soul.
I'm currently married to the girl I hung out with, so my friend could get laid.
Now, that's commitment.
Nah. It's all bullshit, my friend didn't even get any, that night.
Plot twist, your friend was actually the wingman.
Plot twist, his friend was the wingman for her.
Well, at least things turned out all right for you, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm happy with my wife. We just got set up together so my friend wouldn't go to homecoming by himself. 10 years later and bam, wedding.
Dude, I'm pretty sure you can't wedding when the interval we're talking about is 10 years. If it had been 10 days, it would be bam appropriate.
I shagged the girl's mother, so my buddy could shag the daughter. Nice rack too.
I also dreamt that too.
Australia, 2009, we were chatting to this girl and her mum in the pub, who was stopping over for a week in the same town. We all ended up getting pissed and then headed to the beach and went skinny dipping, went back to the hostel and the rest is history.
My brother was out at a club with a few of his buddies, so my brother and his friend, who happens to be gay, are at the bar, and my brother is attempting to get this girl's number, but her whale of a friend continually keeps trying to cock block, so his friend just grabs this fat chick, gives my bro a wink and leads her to a booth to start making out. Brother gets some alone time with hot girl, and gets her number. Short story short, gay friend made out with a fatty for my brother.
I once spent about 90 minutes at a party letting a, shall we say, unattractive and annoying girl complain about how her roommate was selfish for not spending 100% of that evening with her. I did this, so my friend could have some fun with said selfish roommate. That was the longest 90 minutes of my life.
Ah yes, I've been waiting to tell this story. I was at a party, and I don't know anybody really, and I'm talking to these two hot girls. I'm doing fine, but not so well that I am sure I'm going to close the deal. Out of nowhere, this guy who was leaving the party walks straight up to our little group, throws his arm over my shoulder and slaps me on the chest and says,
I gotta go man, sorry to leave you here all alone, but we'll hang out next week, is that cool?
He turns to the girls and says,
Did he tell you that he saved my life? He's too modest about it. I tell him to brag but he doesn't like to. Anyway, see you later man. Tell them the story.
Then this random stranger turns and walks out of the party, leaving me there with two babes waiting with bated breath for this story of my heroism. Things turned around after that. Long story short, if you are leaving a party, be someone's random wingman, and pay that shit forward.
The tomb of the unknown wingman.
Seriously. I've been waiting to take my unborn son.
I was at a gaming convention, and I'd been hanging out / hitting on this hot redhead for the first 2 days of the con. However, her gay brother, by which I literally mean homosexual, was attached to her at the hip. I could never get them apart, therefore, he was constantly cock-blocking me. Finally, on the Saturday night of the convention, he informed his hot sister that he wasn't going to be around. He had a mysterious rendezvous with a secret admirer at the restaurant down the street. This was fortuitous for me, as it gave me all the time I needed, sans brother, to seal the deal with the redhead. I was thinking I had just lucked into this, and the next day I was on cloud 9, whistling and grinning, when my friend Jim asked,
So, how was last night?
I said,
Dude, last night was fantastic.
Jim nods and says,
You're welcome.
I was still slightly confused when, not 30 seconds later, we bump into redhead and ubiquitous brother, and he's still in mid-rant complaining.
Who the hell sends someone flowers with a nice note asking them out, and then stands them up for dinner?
Ha! I was expecting the friend to bang the brother.
Now, that would be some ultra wingman commitment.
I was wingmanning for a friend. I asked this girl if I could sit down in the space next to her and she gave me a strange look, so straight away I played the "Don't worry, I'm not going to hit on you, I'm getting married, I just can't find a seat in this club" card to disarm her. Then when my friend walked by I called him over and asked if he could hold my seat for me whilst I went to the loo, and bingo, he's in there with this girl who turned out to be quite a posh totty. Perfect wingman skills. He got her number and at the end of the evening followed her out of the club. At this point he decided to do an air hump behind her back, not realizing all her friends could see him, and never heard from her again.
Story 1. When my husband and I were dating, we went out for dinner and drinks with a few of his friends. One of his friends was complaining about how he couldn't seem to get a girl to pay attention to him. I called over the waitress. I told her that this was a nice young man who didn't believe in himself and just needed a little encouragement. She smiled, kissed him on the cheek, and she gave him her number after they chatted a while. Apparently they went out on a few dates. I won some awesome points that night. Story 2. My best friend is a bit of a klutz when it comes to girls, and he has pretty low self-esteem for it. He visited me during one of my years at university, so I did the usual party hopping rounds with him and invited a small group of girls. I asked one of my especially easy friends to make him feel special. After we had a few drinks, I told him to make a move on my especially easy friend. They ended up going back to her place, where he proceeded to lose his virginity. Not only did I make him feel like a man without him knowing I had set up the whole thing, I still hold the prize for finding him a redhead to take his virginity. He loves redheads. She thought he was adorable, but she wasn't up to making a commitment. So, whenever they got together, she taught him a thing or two about what women want in bed. To this day, he still loves me for it. I sent that virgin a redhead. Virgins love redheads.
Thanks for watching. Guys, if you liked the video, please leave a like for the algorithm, and be sure to check out my other videos. And if you didn't, let me know in the comment section. Alright, till next time.